Welcome back to Sportsbook Review Videos. We kicked off the week right here in week number 9 on Thursday Night Football, easily cashing a couple of props on a couple of receivers. Back here for Sunday afternoon, I got one receiver and one running back from Bovada Sportsbook. On the year, we're 56, 38, and 2. I am climbing towards 60%, and I'm going to try to get there this week. First, with a prop on Terrelle Pryor, over under 54.5 receiving yards. Much like Muhammad Sinews' yards total on Thursday night, Pryor is just a bit too low this week. Even against the Dallas secondary, that's been pretty good this season. It doesn't look like Josh Gordon's going to join the Browns anytime soon, if at all, which means that Pryor is likely going to continue to see a high single digits, if not double-digit targets. He's seen double-digit targets in 4 of the Browns' 8 games this season. And I think this week against the Cowboys team, they'll likely be throwing the ball a lot to here, potentially playing from behind for most of the game. Volume alone is going to help Pryor cash the over here for his yards total from Bovada Sportsbook at 54.5. Dallas currently tied for 5th in the league in receptions allowed to opposing receivers this season. Assuming in the last 2 weeks, they've given up 46 receptions to wide receivers. I think Pryor's going to see a ton of work. Take the over at 54.5 minus 125. Next up is Darren Sproles, over under 24.5 receiving yards. The Eagles' backfield's kind of gone to crap here really quickly, but one constant has been Darren Sproles, and he played very well last week. Not going to go with his rushing yards, but receiving yards total of only 24.5 seems like a pretty good value play for the over as well, especially if he's still getting a little bit of work on first and second down, but he's locked in on third down. And the volume against the Giants should be very similar to the play we're seeing on Pryor here this week. The Giants have given up 54 targets to opposing running backs this season. That ranks just outside the top 10. That is almost an average of 8 per game. Sproles saw 7 targets, 5 catches last week. Assuming he gets another 7 or 8 targets this week in the passing game, especially if the Eagles are playing from behind in this one, I could easily see him going over 24.5. He did only have 17 yards on 5 receptions last week. I think that's a little bit of an outlier. We've seen this guy run for over 100 or catch over 100 yards receiving in a game already this season. Obviously, that's always a possibility. 24.5, though, a little bit too low. Take the over, minus 125 from Bovada Sportsbook. Best of luck to you on those two. Of course, make sure you check out later tonight and, of course, tomorrow for more prop betting action. But until then, for Sportsbook Review, I'm Jordan Sharp.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts and shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.